Our story begins with a young man named Wayne, standing face to face with three local troublemakers. It starts as nothing more than a tense stare down. Nobody says a word, but the hostility hangs thick in the air. Eventually, one of them gets fed up and tells Wayne to get lost. Wayne does not budge. Frustrated, the guy grabs a chunk of hardened snow and hurls it at Wayne's bike. Wayne does not flinch. Calm as ever, he picks up that same chunk of snow and throws it at a repair shop behind them, shattering the window. Seconds later, the shop owner comes storming out, furious. But the three boys instantly point at Wayne and pin the blame on him. The owner turns on Wayne and starts beating him, while the boys smash his bike until there is almost nothing left of it. Bruised and seething, Wayne climbs back to his feet and breaks the shop window a second time, almost out of pure defiance, before walking off and leaving his wrecked bike behind. On his way home, another problem is already waiting for him. A man with a dog approaches as Wayne reaches his house. It is Mr. Hernandez, the landlord, demanding overdue rent from Wayne's father. When Hernandez keeps pushing, Wayne tosses the stick he is holding. The dog bolts after it, yanking Hernandez off balance and sending him tumbling, injuring his hand in the process. Once Wayne heads inside, there is a knock at the door. Assuming it is Hernandez again, he throws it open in anger. Instead, he finds a girl named Delilah, who everyone calls Dell, selling cookies. From the moment he lays eyes on her, Wayne is captivated. He invites her in and fumbles his way through trying to impress her. For the first time, we see a softer side of him, less aggressive and a lot more unsure of himself. The next day at Hagler High, Wayne discovers several of his books have vanished from his locker. He marches straight to the principal's office to report it. Two students already inside slip out the moment they see him. Wayne explains what happened, but the principal brushes him off and tells him to leave instead of actually helping. As Wayne walks back toward class, he spots his best friend Orlando getting bullied by a group of students. Without a second thought, Wayne steps in, beats down the bully, and rescues Orlando. For Wayne, violence is never random. It is his way of setting things right when he sees injustice. Later, he swings by Dell's house to buy more cookies. And soon after, while the two of them are out walking together, her father and brothers show up and immediately jump him. That night, Wayne sits beside his sick father, who hands him an envelope stuffed with money. When Wayne hears loud fireworks going off outside and gets ready to confront whoever is behind them, his father stops him and shows him a photograph instead. In it, a man and woman stand proudly in front of a car. His father explains that the car used to be his and that it was stolen. The fireworks keep crackling, disturbing his father's rest. So Wayne heads outside and finds two boys gleefully lighting firecrackers. He confiscates every last one before they can set off more. And as he stands there, he notices the boys laughing with their parents, safe and surrounded by love. Wayne, an only child from a broken home, lowers his head. The sight of a whole family together hits him harder than any punch ever could. When he returns inside, everything changes. His father has passed away peacefully in his bed. Shaken but composed, Wayne gathers what he needs and goes to Mr. Hernandez with a thick envelope. The landlord assumes it is finally the rent money. But when he opens it, he realizes he has been played. The envelope is packed with nothing but plain paper. This is the moment the boy stops being just another troubled kid. This is Wayne. What he does next shows exactly how far he is willing to go. He sets fire to his own house, with his father's body still inside. Then, as payback for the beating he took, he burns down the dog kennel owned by Dell's father. After that, he walks straight into Dell's house like nothing on earth could stop him. He strides past her brothers in the living room and heads right for her bedroom. Wayne has one goal now, and that is getting back his father's stolen car. He asks Dell to come with him, and without hesitation, she agrees. Before they can leave, her brothers try to block the way. Wayne handles them fast, knocking a television down the stairs. Outside, Dell's father tries to stop them too, but Wayne fires a lit firework right at him. A brutal fight breaks out, and it ends with Wayne biting the man's nose out of sheer desperation before speeding off with Dell on his motorcycle. They set out for Ocala, Florida, where Wayne believes the stolen car now sits. After riding for a while, they pull into the woods to find something to eat. Wayne cooks up a meal for Dell, but it is pretty clear she does not enjoy it. Meanwhile, Dell's father and brothers head to the police. They report the assault and claim that Dell has been kidnapped. A little later, while the two of them are eating at a small diner, Dell excuses herself to the restroom. Soon, she calls out and asks Wayne to grab some sanitary napkins from a nearby store. Wayne agrees, even though he is clearly uncomfortable. He ends up bouncing between several shops, too embarrassed to just make the purchase. On his way into one convenience store, he crosses paths with a local thug. After grabbing what Dell needs, he heads for the counter, and that is when he spots the same thug harassing a female employee who happens to be his own girlfriend. Wayne cannot look away. He ties the guy to a pole outside, wrecks his bike, and rushes back to the diner. But when he gets there, Dell is gone. He catches sight of her, hurrying off in the distance. She is upset, convinced Wayne abandoned her. She takes a little jab at him, too, pointing out that for a guy who is always fighting and acting tough, he could not even bring himself to buy something simple in public. She also starts questioning whether Wayne really knows what he is doing, or where they are even heading. Frustrated and unsure, Dell decides she wants to go home. Wayne does not chase after her when she tells him not to follow. Instead, he heads back to their campsite in the woods. There he finds two teenage boys rummaging through his stuff. They freeze in terror when they see him, sure he is about to hurt them. One of them admires his jacket, and without hesitation, Wayne just gives it to him. When they learn he is fighting with Dell, who they assume is his girlfriend, the boys encourage him not to give up. They tell him to go after her. Wayne asks how far the bus station is and hops on his motorcycle, dead set on catching her. But right as he is about to take off, he realizes the bike is out of fuel, and on foot there is no way he makes that station in time. One of the boys tells him there is a shortcut that will get him there faster. The catch is that it cuts straight through a golf course, guarded by a local thug named Lee Ray. Wayne does not hesitate. Nothing matters more right now than catching up to Dell. The second he steps onto the course, he comes face to face with Lee Ray, who is standing there holding a shotgun. Lee Ray warns him to turn back. Wayne refuses. A gunshot cracks through the air, and Wayne goes down. The scene shifts to Dell at the bus station. While she waits, she gets into an argument with the ticket seller, Tracy, who turns out to be the very same waitress from the diner they visited earlier. Meanwhile, Lee Ray drags Wayne back to his house and locks him up. As it turns out, that gunshot was only a blank. Lee Ray never meant to kill him, but he threatens Wayne all the same, making it crystal clear that talking about this to anyone would only make things worse. Soon after, Lee Ray's girlfriend Kira shows up. She is furious that Wayne is still breathing. Unlike Lee Ray, she has zero sympathy for him. Lee Ray insists Wayne is just a reckless kid. Eventually, Kira agrees to give him one shot. She hands him a knife and lays out a dangerous challenge. If he can pull it off, they will let him walk. Back at the bus station, Dell and Tracy both cool down and start talking honestly. Tracy points out something Dell never even noticed. Wayne hates coffee, yet he downed 3 full cups just to sit with her a little longer. Maybe she suggests he is not as bad as he seems. As Dell decides to leave with Tracy, she runs into those same 2 teenage boys from the woods, one of them still wearing Wayne's jacket. They tell her the truth, that Wayne has been taken by Lee Ray. At Lee Ray's house, Kira kicks off her twisted challenge, and just as the tension hits its peak, Dell bursts in carrying a chainsaw. While Wayne distracts Kira, Dell goes after Lee Ray. Together, they manage to overpower him, but it is not over. Kira snatches up the shotgun Lee Ray dropped and aims it at both of them. Just when it looks hopeless, Tracy appears out of nowhere and knocks Kira out cold. With the danger finally behind them, Wayne and Dell make peace. They decide to start over as friends and keep going toward Florida. After topping off the motorcycle, they stop at a convenience store for supplies. At the same time, Dell's father keeps up his search, now teaming up with Sergeant Geller and Mr. Hernandez. That night in the pouring rain, Dell hands some money to a woman working the streets and asks for help finding a cheap motel room. The woman agrees and manages to land them a place to stay. The next day at Hagler High, police officers are questioning students about Wayne's recent behavior. Orlando speaks up during the investigation. He tells Sergeant Geller that without Wayne around, the bullying at school has only gotten worse. Wayne may be violent, but he never once stands by while others get pushed around. And according to Orlando, the school administration has done next to nothing about it. At the motel, Wayne and Dell are getting ready to take a dip in the small pool when a bus suddenly rolls in. A group of loud tourists pours out, clearly hunting for cheap thrills at rundown motels. Since Wayne is now a wanted fugitive accused of kidnapping, Dell tells him they need to blend in. Around the tourists, the two of them play it carefree and anonymous. Dell throws herself into the moment, drinking and playing games, almost like she is trying to forget everything chasing them. Wayne, on the other hand, stays on edge. He knows one wrong move could blow their cover. During a round of truth or dare, Wayne butts heads with one of the guys who calls him a liar. Annoyed, Wayne dares him to ride a bicycle straight off the upper balcony and land in the pool. The guy laughs it off, sure it cannot be done. So Wayne does it himself. He proves that impossible is just a word. Naturally, the motel manager is not impressed. The second he sees the damage, he calls the cops. Chaos breaks loose. The tourists scatter, though plenty of them get caught. Wayne and Dell manage to duck out of sight and slip away just in time. But as they get ready to leave, Dell checks her bag and realizes all their money's gone. Her suspicion lands on the woman who helped them get the room the night before. Meanwhile, over in Ocala, Florida, two men sit inside a car that looks exactly like the one from the photo Wayne's father showed him. One of them is the very same man from that picture. Out of nowhere, a caravan trailer slams into their parked car. Without missing a beat, the two men climb out and tear the trailer apart in revenge. Back on the run, Wayne and Dell sneak into an empty house that is up for rent. For a little while, they get to rest somewhere, clean and comfortable, washing up after losing everything. That peace does not last long. A real estate agent shows up with a wealthy couple interested in the place. Thinking fast, Dell creates a distraction by dropping a flower vase onto the agent's expensive car. In the confusion, she and Wayne slip out before anyone can report them. At the same time, Sergeant Geller and his partner, Officer J, gear up to head to Florida. Geller wants to reach Wayne before things spiral any further. He believes the kid is not beyond saving and that he deserves a second chance. With no money left and the motorcycle running on fumes, Dell suggests Wayne pick up a temporary construction job. Even though he has never done that kind of work, he agrees. While Wayne works, Dell heads to a pawn shop, planning to pawn her late mother's necklace. There she meets a woman and her daughter who desperately need money for a funeral. Instead of helping herself, Dell chooses to help them get the cash they need. At the job site, Wayne puts up with constant verbal abuse from his boss. Normally, he would fight back, but this time he swallows it because they need the money. That night, when he meets back up with Dell, they talk about the funeral of the woman's husband. Dell insists on attending. Even while they are running from the law and barely scraping by, she still wants to show up for someone who has lost everything. The next day, Wayne is back at the construction site. While working, he accidentally tears down the wrong wall and instantly gets chewed out by his boss. Same old story, it seems. But this time, something different happens. His co-workers step in and back him up, pointing out that the wall was covered in mold and needed to come down anyway. The boss shrugs it off and orders everyone back to work. Meanwhile, Dell is at a shopping mall, hunting for a black dress to wear to the funeral. She finds one she likes, but the price is way too high. Just as she is about to give up, a store employee takes pity on her and hands over the dress for free. After that, Dell makes her way to the church. Back at the job site, Wayne sits alone during lunch. One of his co-workers walks over and offers to share his meal. Wayne gratefully accepts and thanks him for standing up to the boss earlier. For a brief moment, he gets a taste of something unfamiliar, simple kindness. But that moment does not last either. Wayne soon learns his boss plans to hand the undocumented day laborers over to immigration so he can dodge paying them. And once again, Wayne refuses to stay quiet in the face of injustice. He steals his boss's car and chases the men down. After forcing the vehicle to stop and taking his boss out of the picture, Wayne frees his co-workers and warns them about the plan. The men thank him and scatter fast before immigration can get involved. Afterward, Wayne heads to the church to join Dell at the funeral. Meanwhile, somewhere in North Carolina, Dell's father and her brothers are on the road driving toward Florida. At a gas station, a well-dressed man confronts her father for cutting him off along the way. The man throws insults, but Dell's father stays calm. Then, without warning, he splashes gasoline all over the man. Terrified, the man is sure he is about to be set on fire. Instead, Dell's father simply walks away, having made his point, and continues his search. Later, with no money left, Wayne and Dell sit inside a fast food restaurant, waiting for customers to leave behind unfinished meals so they can eat. When Wayne steps away to the restroom, a group from a school discipline committee walks in, sweeping the place for students skipping class. They mistake Dell for one of them. Even though Dell insists she does not go there and tries to resist, she is hauled away by force. When Wayne comes back and finds out what happened, he bolts outside and chases after them. At Alabaster High, Dell is stuck serving detention alongside two girls named Trish and Jenny. To her surprise, she hits it off with them quickly. Meanwhile, Wayne's best friend Orlando is on the road with the principal, heading toward Florida to find him. Orlando firmly believes Wayne is not the monster Dell's father makes him out to be. In his eyes, Wayne never starts fights for no reason. He only steps in when someone is being pushed around. Back at Alabaster High, Wayne makes a dramatic entrance. He rides his motorcycle straight through the school hallway, determined to find Dell. That engine is unmistakable. The second Dell hears it, she slips out of the library and runs to him. Within seconds, they are speeding away together. Around the same time, Sergeant Geller sits down with Wayne's former boss, who accuses Wayne of attacking him with a drill. But it does not take Geller long to see the truth. The boss has a history of scamming day laborers, especially undocumented workers, just to avoid paying them. Soon after, Wayne and Dell run into Trish and Jenny again. The girls invite them to a school dance. Dell is excited by the idea. Wayne is not. To him, it sounds like a waste of time. Jenny brings them to her house and offers clothes for the event. But Wayne tells Dell she can stay and enjoy the dance if she wants, because he plans to keep going to Florida alone. Dell feels hurt and lashes out at him. Wayne walks off, leaving her with her new friends. Later, sitting alone at a fast food place, he reflects on something simple but powerful. Chances to fight for someone you love do not come around twice. That night at the dance, a charming guy approaches Dell and asks her to dance. She turns him down. She is still holding out hope that Wayne will show up. And then he does. Wayne arrives in a bold pink suit. When he spots another guy near Dell, jealousy flashes across his face. But instead of throwing a punch, he does something no one expects. He drops to one knee and asks Dell to dance. They take the floor and cut loose in their own strange, carefree way. For a moment, everything else just melts away. Afterward, they step outside to clear the air. Wayne admits he does not want to control Dell or take away the things that make her happy. He just wants to be with her, and Dell finally realizes she feels exactly the same. But the peace does not last. Dell's father and her brothers suddenly show up and attack Wayne. They beat him brutally in front of everyone. Just when it looks like he cannot take any more, students from Alabaster High come pouring out to defend him. Badly hurt but still standing, Wayne climbs back on his motorcycle with Dell and escapes once again. Elsewhere, Sergeant Geller and Officer Jay keep tracking Wayne's location. Jay tells Geller that Dell's father has already caught up to them and that a video of Wayne getting beaten has just been uploaded to social media by one of Dell's brothers. Wayne and Dell head back to Jenny's house. Wayne is in rough shape. Dell suggests the hospital, but Wayne refuses. As a fugitive, walking into a hospital would mean an instant arrest. Frustrated but determined, Dell tries to patch him up herself. She asks Trish and Jenny for help, but instead of a gentle touch, the girls force a sedative into him. Wayne resists at first since he has never used drugs before, but they push it into his mouth anyway. Not long after, he drifts into a deep sleep. The next morning, Dell wakes up to find Wayne already sitting in front of her, staring with a strange look on his face. He seems almost too calm, too content. He tells her he is just glad to see her. Dell figures the drugs from the night before are still in his system. Wayne notices she slept in the bathtub and asks about it. But before she can explain, Trish and Jenny rush in, warning them that Jenny's father's about to come home. They tell Wayne and Dell to hide, fast. Instead of hiding, Wayne walks right out and faces Jenny's father head-on. He chooses honesty over fear, saying exactly what is on his mind. Whatever he says leaves the man stunned, speechless, and eventually walking away. Elsewhere, Dell's father and her brothers are still recovering in the hospital from the fight at Alabaster High. Sergeant Geller and Officer Jay visit them, hoping for details about what went down. But Dell's father refuses to cooperate. He blames Geller for everything, accusing him of failing to do his job and letting Wayne and Dell vanish. Back on the road, Wayne and Dell stop at a convenience store for gas and supplies before pushing on. While Dell is in the restroom, Wayne catches a news report on television about the violent incident at Alabaster High. It shows Dell's father badly hurt and rushed to the hospital. Wayne's expression shifts. For the first time, he looks genuinely shaken. It is as if the weight of what happened is finally landing on him. When Dell comes back, he tells her about her father's condition and suggests she go see him, worried he might not make it. Wayne decides to wait outside while she goes in alone. As Dell approaches her father's room, she hears him yelling at her brothers, cursing and tearing into them. The sound stirs up painful childhood memories of how harshly he treated her after her mother passed away. Outside, while Wayne waits, a young man named Bradley walks up and buys him a bag of cookies from a vending machine. Bradley opens up about how he recently got a 19-year-old girl pregnant and how it turned his whole life upside down. He admits he is not ready to be a father or build a family. Before he leaves, he mentions he is interested in Wayne's motorcycle. Soon after, Dell comes back out and suggests they buy some alcohol. She mixes it with milk, planning to give it to her father. For the second time, Dell returns to the hospital, now with Wayne by her side. At first, he hesitates to go in. The place reminds him too much of his own father's final days, but he chooses to face it, for her. As they make their way toward her father's room, they spot two police officers guarding the corridor. Without missing a beat, they duck into the nearest room, which happens to be the morgue. Hearing footsteps drawing closer, Wayne and Dell slip beneath one of the gurneys, hiding in silence as someone walks in. The two people who enter turn out to be the same officers from the hallway. They are there to identify a body. After confirming the corpse is not the suspect they are looking for, they leave. Once the coast is clear, Dell opens up to Wayne. She tells him how her father changed after her mother died, how he grew cold and cruel. She admits that if he dies, she will have no one left. Wayne gently reminds her that she is not alone anymore, and in that quiet moment, they share a kiss. Dell manages to sneak into her father's room, gives him the drink she prepared, speaks with him briefly, and then leaves with Wayne. But their escape is short-lived. They run right into Sergeant Geller, who immediately gives chase. When he finally corners the two of them, he tries to reason with them. He begs them to drop whatever they are planning in Florida and think about their future. Wayne and Dell refuse to listen. They overpower him and run.
Wayne!
Officer J sprints after them outside the hospital. Spotting someone in a similar jacket heading for the motorcycle, Jay tackles him, only to realize too late that it is not Wayne at all. It is Bradley. Wayne and Dell get away by hitching a ride with someone heading to Florida. When they finally arrive, they stop at a convenience store to grab some food. Inside, a group of rowdy men starts causing trouble. Later, outside the store, Dell offers Wayne a cup of coffee. Wayne hates coffee, and the second it hits his tongue, he spits it out onto the hood of a nearby car. As he takes a closer look at that car, his whole expression changes. It looks almost identical to the one his father once owned. One of the troublemakers steps outside and orders Wayne to clean the hood. Wayne is furious, but he keeps his cool, especially since the guy is surrounded by his friends. After wiping it down, the group piles into the car. That is when Wayne recognizes one of them. It is the same man from the photograph his father showed him before he died, the man he believes stole the car. Once they drive off, Wayne tells Dell the truth. That car belongs to his father. He goes back inside the store, manages to get their address, and heads straight there. When they arrive, Wayne tells Dell to figure out how to get the car out while he handles the men alone. He deliberately provokes them, letting the fight escalate until his face is bruised and bloody. But just as the violence reaches its peak, a woman rushes in to stop it. Wayne freezes. So does she. They stare at each other, both realizing exactly who the other is. She is his mother. Maureen left Wayne when he was just 5 years old. She later married a man named Calvin, the same man from the photograph, and the guy who made Wayne clean the hood is Reggie, his stepbrother. Instead of the fight continuing, Wayne and Dell are invited to stay for lunch with Maureen and her new family. During the meal, Reggie keeps trying to get under Wayne's skin, acting spoiled and clinging to Maureen, even though he is not her biological son. Eventually, Wayne tells his mother that his father has passed away. The news drops a heavy silence over the entire table. Maureen is stunned, and even Calvin and Reggie go quiet for a beat. But that heaviness does not stick around. Reggie soon slips right back into mocking Wayne, playing up his closeness with Maureen just to provoke him. Wayne's jealousy boils over. In a burst of anger, he hurls a bowl at Reggie, and there is a strange sense of satisfaction in finally striking back. Later, as Wayne and Dell sit together talking about their next move, Reggie pulls Wayne aside, while Maureen asks Dell to help with the dishes. At first, Dell and Maureen chat casually in the kitchen, but the conversation turns sharp when Dell brings up the fact that Maureen walked out on her family when Wayne was just a child. Frustrated, Dell drops one of Maureen's favorite ceramic bowls, shattering it on the floor. Outside, Reggie proudly shows off his new car, a birthday gift from his parents. Calvin only adds to Wayne's frustration, telling him to change the radiator water, treating him like a nuisance rather than a guest. Wayne slams the hood shut and storms off. When he walks back into the kitchen, he sees Dell kneeling on the floor, cleaning up the broken pieces. He quietly helps her. Then his eyes drift to the refrigerator door, covered in photos of Maureen smiling happily with her new family. In that moment, Wayne feels his heart sink. Later, Maureen shows him old photographs from his childhood that she kept carefully tucked away. It is her way of proving she never truly forgot him. Then she takes Wayne and Dell out shopping for clothes and toiletries, but Dell feels more and more invisible. Wayne seems eager to follow his mother's lead, soaking up the attention he missed out on for years. Maureen even asks Dell to snap a picture of her and Wayne together, one she plans to put up on her refrigerator. Feeling pushed aside and ignored, Dell acts out. She deliberately shoplifts from the mall. When security finds the stolen item in her bag, Maureen steps in and talks them out of pressing charges. She argues that Dell is still young and just needs guidance at home. The guard eventually lets them go once the item is returned. Back at the house, Dell starts questioning Wayne's real intentions. He originally came to Florida to reclaim his father's car and leave. But now, after finding the car and reconnecting with his mother, he seems different, more relaxed, almost at home in this new family he always longed for. Wayne then reveals that he found a bus ticket to Los Angeles tucked in Dell's bag. He believes she is planning to leave him. The accusation sets off another argument. Hurt and angry, Dell decides to sleep in the living room with a pillow and a blanket. Later that night, Wayne grows uneasy. He steps out of his room and realizes Dell is gone. The scene briefly flashes back to an earlier moment. A frightened young man runs to his house. There is a knock at the door. Before he can react, he is brutally attacked and killed. Back in the present, after leaving Maureen's house, Dell makes her way to a public swimming pool. She asks a female guard for permission to stay the night. The next morning, Wayne and his mother talk about what comes next. Maureen admits she has been thinking about making up for all the years she lost with him. Hearing that, Wayne lights up. For the first time in ages, he feels wanted. He even helps her build a display shelf for her aromatherapy candle business, trying to carve out a place in this new version of family life. But that fragile peace does not last. When Calvin finds out, he is furious. He makes it clear that this is his house, and he will not let Wayne stay, let alone support him. It does not matter that Wayne has nowhere else to go. Meanwhile, Orlando and the principal are still making their way to Florida. Along the road, they barely avoid hitting a dog, sending the car swerving off course. Thankfully, no one is hurt, but the near miss is a reminder of just how unpredictable this whole journey has become. Elsewhere, Dell wakes up at the public pool only to find it already packed with families. Mothers swimming with their babies fill the background. Soon the female guard comes back and asks her to leave. Stubborn and overwhelmed, Dell refuses and jumps into the pool fully clothed, as if daring the world to push her around. Back at the house, after a heated clash with Calvin, Maureen approaches Wayne, guilt heavy in her eyes. She tells him he has to leave. It is not her call, she says, because the house belongs to Calvin, and without his permission, she cannot let Wayne stay. To Wayne, it feels like betrayal all over again. Enraged, he starts smashing things around the house. Then he tries to take back his father's car, the same one Calvin and Maureen kept. But Calvin and Reggie are ready for him. They overpower Wayne and lock him up. Meanwhile, Dell decides to head back to Brockton, Massachusetts. But she does not even have enough for a bus ticket. Desperate, she starts begging at the terminal. By pure chance, Orlando and the principal arrive at that very same station. The moment Dell sees them, she runs into the principal's arms and breaks down in tears. Back at the house, Calvin gets ready to kill Wayne. He is moments from pulling the trigger when Sergeant Geller and Officer J suddenly show up, demanding to know where Wayne is. Geller already understands why Wayne came to Florida. He knows the real goal was to reclaim his father's stolen car. Reggie drags Wayne out to prove they have him, and manages to take down Jay. Then he threatens Geller, daring him to step inside and finish this. At the bus station, Dell tells Orlando and the principal that she just wants to go home. She feels abandoned, convinced Wayne has chosen his mother over her, but Orlando reminds her of something she may have forgotten. Wayne once did something incredibly brutal to protect someone he cared about. He is capable of extreme violence when the people he loves are in danger, and he would not hesitate to risk everything, even his own freedom, for them. After hearing Orlando's story, Dell finally puts the pieces together. The boy who once threatened to spread an inappropriate video about her mother was the same young man who was later attacked in his own home. It was not random at all. It was Wayne. Orlando explains that Wayne has been protecting her this whole time, quietly and without ever asking for credit. And when it comes to the people he cares about, Wayne will go to violent extremes if that is what it takes to keep them safe. That realization changes everything for Dell. She stands up and leaves at once, determined to find him. Back at Calvin's house, Sergeant Geller accepts Calvin's challenge to settle things one-on-one. No weapons involved. At first, Calvin is cocky and sure of himself, but the fight does not go the way he expects. With a bit of help from Wayne, Geller manages to take the bigger man down. Even so, Wayne is placed under arrest for his reckless actions. Sergeant Geller brings him to the Ocala Police Department for questioning, but Geller does not see Wayne as a lost cause. He convinces the Florida authorities to transfer the case to Brockton, Massachusetts, so he can personally oversee it. In his eyes, Wayne is not the savage Dell's father claims he is. He is a damaged kid who made dangerous choices. Geller even opens up about his own relationship with his father, and for the first time, Wayne looks genuinely moved. Before they part ways, Geller offers him some advice and expresses hope that they will meet again under better circumstances in Brockton. Meanwhile, Dell, the principal, and Orlando go to Maureen's house looking for Wayne. Maureen tells them he has been arrested and that Calvin has been taken into custody too for assaulting a police officer. Dell immediately heads for the Ocala Police Department. The principal and Orlando stay behind to help Maureen, whose dog is about to give birth. But the chaos is far from finished. Reggie has a plan of his own. He releases dangerous animals from a wildlife enclosure he controls, throwing the whole area into panic. Police are flooded with emergency calls from residents reporting wild animals roaming their neighborhoods. Officers are forced to spread out across the city, leaving the station badly understaffed. With the distraction working perfectly, Reggie slips into the police station. He takes out an officer, grabs his car keys, and finds Wayne. What follows is a brutal fight inside the station. Reggie overpowers Wayne and topples a heavy cabinet onto him, pinning him to the ground. Unable to move, Wayne can only watch as Reggie grabs a police shotgun, ready to end his life. At the very last second, Dell arrives and stops him. Furious and fearless, she confronts Reggie, proudly calling Wayne her boyfriend. She manages to take Reggie down, but he recovers fast and turns on her instead, choking her and trying to kill her. Seeing Dell's life on the line, Wayne pushes through the pain. With every last ounce of strength, he grabs his hammer and strikes Reggie hard enough to knock the gold tooth right out of his mouth, sending him crashing to the floor, out cold.
Huh?
Wayne tells Dell to grab the car keys from Reggie's jacket. Together, they stagger out of the station, Dell holding Wayne up as he barely stays on his feet. She urges him to go to the hospital. His injuries are severe, but Wayne refuses. If he walks into a hospital, he will be arrested on the spot. Elsewhere, in a strangely peaceful contrast, the principal beams with joy as his dog safely delivers her puppies. He even names them after his former dogs, honoring the ones he once lost. Overwhelmed by fear and desperation, Dell finally breaks down. She cannot hold it in any longer and gets ready to confess her love to Wayne. But before she can get the words out, Wayne says them first. For one brief moment, everything feels honest and clear between them. Then it all falls apart.
Go!
Their car is suddenly rammed by Dell's father. The impact knocks Dell unconscious. Her brothers quickly pull her out of the wreck. Dell's father walks straight toward Wayne and beats him mercilessly, driven by rage and revenge for everything Wayne has done. Helpless and barely able to fight back, Wayne can only watch as Dell is dragged away. The one thing he can still reach is her necklace, fallen onto the ground. With the last of his strength, he grabs it before finally losing consciousness, just as an ambulance pulls up. After the dust settles, Sergeant Geller arrests Reggie for attacking a police officer and wrecking the station. Wayne, though, has to answer for his own actions. He is sentenced to prison, and even behind bars, he shows no regret for what he did. In his hands, he still holds Dell's necklace, clinging to it as the most precious thing left in his life. So the moral of the story is maybe learn to buy sanitary napkins confidently before starting a multi-state revenge mission with fireworks and a stolen car.